Hello everybody, this is Diane. I am working on the Seahorse and Seashell journals. The Seahorse one is almost done. I still have to sew it together, but the pages are pretty well put together, and I have to decorate the front because there's this big empty space right here, which makes it look very uneven, and I don't like that. So I have these little bits of the batik fabric, and I've been playing around with an arrangement for them, and I had it all set up here, and then something disturbed it, so all the pieces just kind of blew around. So I was thinking about just putting those batik fabrics there and then using these little glittered pieces that came from Stampin' Up. So I had one of those up there. A couple of starfish. And then I had something over here. I think the starfish looks better. Yeah. Okay. I'm gonna do that. And because they are so little, I think I will use the art glitter glue so I can have the fine nozzle, and hope that the art glitter glue will hold these items down. I got some strawberries today, some fresh local berries. We have a produce stand that usually opens up on our main street here in this area, the same street where my grocery store and Walmart are, and some restaurants. I live in a small town, but there's a place where a tent usually goes up, and they sell produce from spring through fall, ending with the Halloween pumpkins. But I have seen no sign of them this year. But there is also a local, it's a roller rink, but they also have a cider mill, and they also have a strawberry field. I used to go there when my kids were young. We would go there and pick strawberries, but they don't have a You Pick 'em program anymore. So anyway, at their roller rink slash cider mill, they have a stand where they sell their berries. So I went and got some there today, and I know I got some last year, and I thought they were overpriced and not the best berries. They weren't very sweet. But that's the only place I can get them right here. There's another place that's about 15-20 minutes away, and I called down there, and she said they didn't have any more, but they would get some after 4 o'clock today. And I've never gotten them there before, but I can't go that late today. I have plans. So I did go and get some from the roller rink. And I know these people. They've gone to church. They've gone to my church, and the kids grew up with my kids. But anyway, I went there and I got some, brought them home, and they were pricey, but I got a few quarts, brought them home, and they're not very sweet. So I am really hoping to get some from the other place maybe tomorrow, the one I have to drive to. It's worth it for berries. But I did cut up the berries I bought today. I chopped them up and put a little sugar on them because they just weren't very sweet, and put them in freezer containers, and they're in my freezer. I think this fills in the space nicely, doesn't it? I had a ribbon, not a ribbon, a trim that went with it, and I thought it looked good, but I just had it like down here, but it just was this strip here, this strip there, and it was too static, I guess. This has movement. There we go. So now I guess, oh, and I have, look what I did. I had some sea, so I have to find, I guess here it is. I had some little charms. So I've got starfish and seahorses and beads, and I made a bead dangle. And we're all set up to put that on there after I get the pages sewn in. So I'll set this aside. So this is what I'm going to use for the seashell journal or seashore journal. I had a little image that I'm going to put on there with some collage elements. All I had picked out was that one image of a lady sitting on the beach. It's a vintage image. And I don't have it right here. I'm not sure where it went, but I'm sure I'll find it, I hope. So this is what I'm using. It's just a small, it's a Reader's Digest book, so the pages aren't very big. So I'm hoping that some of these vintage pieces will work in it, that they won't be too small. Like this would be a great image to put on the front, but it's kind of big. I have this postcard, that postcard. These are just little note papers that came out of a children's book. These little boys on a sand dune, and the teacher wrote, this was a teacher's copy, and the teacher wrote, that part of the sea is called, oh, what part of the sea is called the seashore? Oh, and then I have this, well, I had a quote about the seashore. Guess I'll have to find that too. It explained what the seashore is. I don't know if it came out of that book. Maybe it did. These came out of a mermaid book. These are heavy pieces, so I just cut them into this shape. I'll probably cut them into a tag and do something with them. These came out of a kid's book. I know I have more than I'll use in this one journal. Some paint chips I might make into tags. This is a vintage piece, cardstock, but it's a shell. And this is an oyster. And I've got some vintage postcards. So I'll use some of these things, but not all of them. And I might sell extra things in a little bundle because I don't really plan on doing repeats. This is something I got out of that mermaid book for kids. It was that interactive book that I got recently. And I was hoping to use it, but it's too big. So this could go in the little bundle of extras that I might sell. So let's just deal with what I can do. I took some pages out of the Seashells field guide and just cut down some paper into a little book size and just sewed one of the pages onto it and just have some papers that I will sew into that. And I want to do something to embellish the inside. I thought about putting that on there. Or I'm going to be fussy cutting some of the seashells out of that field guide book, so I could use that. Where'd my other pages go? Are these? Yep, I guess these are the pages. These are graph papers, vintage, with a tiny, tiny grid. And then I just took a piece of the copy paper that I had painted, dipped in water with paint in it. So I will add a page of that. Because I have some that cracked in the middle, so I can't make like full journal pages out of them. So I just fold it like that. I think I'll have to trim some off the edge. Oh, I guess I already trimmed that one. So this one's ready. And I have to cut some more papers for the third one. So I'm going to put one of these in each signature, I think. I also have these images from 1912 catalog, and this bit of wallpaper that looks like clamshells. So I'm going to embellish these and make tags. So I already glued this lady on with a little bit of scrapbook paper behind her, and I have these little colored fish that I cut with my dies. I'm just going to glue on. Her cap is 25 cents. And the swimming dress is $2.98. Then I'm going to show you what I did on on the pages with some colored vellum. So don't go away yet. Ah, dropped it right on top of that other fish. And this is wallpaper, but this one doesn't have any printing on the back. That one does. I think you'll be able to write on that. Maybe I should round the corners. I have to make sure I put pockets in on these pages so that I can use those vintage postcards too. So here's what I did. I colored with spray inks. I colored some vellum. And then I used a die and cut this window out. And then I used the same die and a bigger one to cut this frame out. I had to nest them inside each other to cut this frame. So then I sandwiched the vellum in between this and the frame, so you can see through that. And I decorated this with some of the seashells I cut from that field guide. And then I did this one with an oval, a scalloped oval and a smooth oval, created this frame. And then I have one more to do. I've already cut the pieces, so I used these two ovals that nest right inside each other. Because they're so close together, there's not space in between them. It makes a really narrow frame on this one. But I used the smaller of the ovals to cut the circle in the page. Now I have this sprayed vellum piece, and I'm just going to glue this to it. I want to make sure that sticks down really well before I cut it out. While I wait for that, I have this that came out of the mermaid book, and I thought I would cut those wavy lines and cut these into little journaling cards. I have way more than I need for one journal, but I really only want to make one of these journals because I made the Seahorse. And I'm ready to move on to something else. I'm going out to dinner tonight with the young lady that she graduated college. I think I've mentioned her before, that we message each other on Facebook, and I try to offer her encouragement as she's dealing with all the things she deals with. And she graduated college. She is going to be a occupational therapist. She has one more year to get her master's. So she's working an internship or externship or something this summer. But she wanted to get together with me, so we're gonna go to dinner tonight. I'm looking forward to spending some time with her. She sent me the link to her graduation on Zoom, so I was able to watch her graduate with honors. Perhaps I should save these for a mermaid journal, because Mermaid's Treasure. It talks about how mermaids use these things. Yeah, I've got enough stuff for this book. I can save these for a mermaid journal. But we got them cut out now. So I'm gonna cut this out. I've still got inks on my hands from spraying these things. I sprayed them. I had just these little rectangular pieces, and I put them in my little spray box and squirted. And with the first, I have 3 different colors, and when I squirted the first color on, it instantly just rolled up. So then I had to spread it out and spray it with each succeeding color, so my hands just got all inky. Once I hit it with the heat gun, it flattened out. So now, if I just glued it in so that you could see it from the window, then you would just have this raw edge, which is okay, but I made it neater by making the frame around it. You can still see some of it peeking out. I didn't cut it close enough. Okay. So I'm going to have to put it on there just right, because it is such a narrow frame, and of course I want to make sure that that whole window there is covered. Okay. So then I'll just have to fussy cut some more seashells so I can embellish around the frame here like I did on the first one. So let's think about some pockets that I can make to hold some of these ephemera pieces. I also have these little tags that came with the antique papery. The antique papery one is called Seashore Collection. And Liana Scraps. I think I have some of hers in here. This is The ones that have the speckles and stuff, those are antique papery. And this one is Liana Scraps. And I think that one is called Sand and Sea. Now, these pages stick out quite a bit from the front, but I think they're okay once they're in the journal. Let me make sure. Yeah, they don't stick out beyond the journal page, but usually I don't let that bother me, because I will put lace on the front or on one very near the front, and that will extend and cover up those edges. But I'm not going to be using lace. I might use some more of this tea bag that I sprayed. I'm not sure if I'm going to want to spray them in a different color for this journal. But I think I will trim just a little bit on those very inner pages, get some of that off. Let's find a place to put pockets. I can put a little pocket on this for some smaller items, skinnier items like that. That would be a good place to put that tag. But I'll have to have like a full page pocket for the postcards. I did some more of the embossed seaweed cards, like I did with the Seahorse journal. I might want to do that in a different color if I want to put it on that page, though. I've got some scraps of this paper. This is Stampin' Up! Paper. Oh, this would make a lovely pocket. Look at that one, that looks like sand. I don't really want to cover up all that yellow. If I put a little trim at the top, that might be okay for a pocket. Four 4¼ Let's try 3 inches. Try 3¼ and I can always trim it. Yep, trim it, and whatever width I cut it. Maybe I turned it the wrong way, because now it is too wide. So we're going to go with 3 inches for the pocket. Yeah, that's more than 4¼ There we go. And I'll just put something at the edge, some sort of a trim. Put that in there. And I think I will sew it just so the glue doesn't take up more of the space. And I'll either use this or one of the postcards in there. But for now, I'll just clip it so I know that that is going to be the pocket for that. Oh, that's one that I wanted to trim down. Let's trim it before I sew things to it. These two inner pages I wanted to trim a little bit. Now I'll probably have to trim that pocket. Yeah, that's better. The pocket on this side. Yep. I'll trim it with this till I get to the trim. This will help me keep it straight. Still a little close for comfort. So now I'm wondering if the postcards will fit in there. Oh, now I trimmed it too much. So I bet a postcard won't fit. Maybe just barely if I sew it. I might end up just clipping postcards to the edges of the pages. Let's make a little pocket for this little lady. How about a slanted pocket? That. So I marked where I want it to be on both the side and the bottom, and then I will put those marks right on the cutting line. Actually, that's kind of small, but because this is a deep embossing folder and it cuts into this one spot on it, it always cuts that. So I want to back it with something anyway, so I can make this pocket a little bit bigger. I'll just glue this to it, but I want to rub some ink on it first. There's another slit right there. But I read, after I cut these, or embossed them, there, I knew I was going to do that. I read that you can break the fibers in the paper before you emboss it. So you can just squirt it with water to help break down the fibers, or take it and rub it over the edge of a table to kind of roll it over the edge of the table to break the fibers. So I'll have to try that the next time and see if it works. I didn't read it on this one. I read it on a different one I have. It's got a deep embossed edge. I think, did I mark this on the page so that I would use this portion? I don't know. But I think I want it to be this way, so it's going to end up being on the other side of the page. Whatever I did, I think I messed it up. But it's workable. A little bit too big. There. That blue on this, whatever this is, hemp, makes it look quite nautical. And it just is a titch over the edge there. I guess I couldn't have made it much bigger. And I think that will look cute. I want these to be not too fancily embellished. I don't think fancily is a word, but you know what I mean. I want them to be a little more streamlined and clean and fresh because it's ocean. So this is pretty simple embellishing, but I'm not going to be having lace and stuff like that. And I could put one of these little tags in there too. I will ink the back of that. Stick it in there. Just be careful don't to get it caught on the fish. Okay. Alright, I felt like I wasn't getting anything done today. I didn't feel good. I had a headache when I got up, and I just didn't know what to do with this. I just couldn't get with it today. My daughter and I went to breakfast. That was a surprise. She showed up. She walked to my house. It was three miles. And she walked. And then we went to breakfast, and then I took her home. She was prepared to walk, but she was hoping I'd be home to drive her. But the headache just has been hanging on all day. It's it's quite a bit better now than it was. So I think that was why I couldn't get motivated to do stuff in here. I kept trying and I just wasn't getting much done. I'm doing better, but I think after I turn this camera off, I'm gonna just take a break, rest, make sure my headache has a little more of a chance to go away before I go out with my young friend. I don't usually eat out this much, but it just seems like everybody wants to go out, so I've been eating out with people lately. I think that was there. Okay, so I feel like I have a direction now, where I just had nothing earlier. Oh my goodness, I am splattered with strawberry juice. I bet that's gonna stain my pretty blue shirt. So I guess I'm going to do some trimming on this one, but I feel like I'm getting somewhere. And I have some embellishments started at least, and I'll have some fussy cutting to do this evening. So we're on our way with this journal, and the Seahorse one is almost done. Thank you for crafting with me today. I hope you were working on a project while we were messing around in here. And I will see you in the next video. Have a creative day today. Bye-bye.